All right, so Jacob, do you know how to graph a line?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So this will be a little bit of review for you. Not that hard. Yeah, that's not too bad. But let's go through a graph. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, first thing I want you to do, when you're graphing inequalities, forget about the inequality symbol. Let's just graph it as a line. I'm going to do this one first, then I'll do another one. Just graph it as a line. Remember, all graphs, all linear equations can be written in the form y equals mx plus b. What does b represent? B represents the y-intercept. What is the y-intercept?
Plus 2.
The y-intercept is plus 2, but it's where the graph crosses the y-axis. So you go to 2. Okay? Every single person in this class should be able to put the y-intercept up there. All you have to do is find the constant and go to 2 and put a little dot. All right? That's using the slope-intercept method. There's other ways to graph, but this is one way that a lot of students believe is the easiest. Now, the next thing is now I need to determine the slope. Remember, the slope is the number that's in front of the x. It does not include the x. My m is -3, not -3x. It's just the number. But remember, slope, right? A lot of times we say rise over run, change in y over change in x. So we want to write it as a fraction. Well, if it's not a fraction, just put it over 1. Because what's 1 divided into -3? -3. So now what does -3 tell us? Remember, it's the change in y over the change in x. So you can say if my change in my y coordinates between one point and another, if that change is -3, am I going to go up 3 or down 3?
Down.
So you can go down 3. So from this point, I go down 3. 1, 2, 3. Then my change in x is +1. So I'm going to go to the right one. Now, just be careful. You could also write this as 3 over -1. That doesn't, -3 divided by 1 is -3. 3 divided by -1 is also -3. Okay? So you guys look at it. I connect my points. There's my line. Done. All right? Now, we haven't done the inequality symbol. Graph the line first. Trevor, you got that? Graph the line. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to go back and look at our inequality symbol. All right? Remember, guys, when we were graphing just one step or one variable inequalities, remember when we had the greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, was that a solid dot or an open dot? Solid. So in lines, we either do a dashed or a solid line. So should this be a solid line or dashed? Solid, right? Just like it'd be a solid dot. Yes? Hold on. Let me finish this video. Then the next thing we would talk about is test points. Remember, shading. We always pick the point. Whenever you guys see inequality, you should always need to know we have to have shading. If I don't have shading, my problem's wrong. All right? So I have n is greater than. So we need to pick a test point. Does anybody remember the best test point ever to pick in the creation of man? 0, 0. But the only time not to pick 0, 0 is when your line goes through 0, 0. Does my line go through 0, 0?
No.
No. So then, Mallory, all I do,
What do you pick for those 0,
1, 1, 1, 2, anything, doesn't matter. Just a point that's not on the line. So now what I do is I just plug in 0 in for my points. So that 0 is greater than or equal to 2. Is that true or false?
True.
Is 0 greater than 2?
No.
No. So at 2, 2, that is false. What that means is all numbers below this line are false. So to represent all the numbers above it are true, I shade to the opposite end. You can look at it that way. However, what if I wrote the equation like this? Okay? If I wrote it like this, you guys have to understand, yeah, you could flip it. But yeah, that's what I'm telling you guys. You need to understand it's not how, it's not always where it's where the arrow points when it's in that format. Okay?
So it point to the left.
Right, because look at that doesn't point to the right. That point. If your y is going to be on your left and your x is on the right, then yes, you can set it like that. Okay? Guys. Yeah, because if we were to flip that around.